What is up, everybody? It's Joe from JLW Game Sketch with another cool video. We're back in Midwest Adventure, and I wanted to do a little real-time section to kind of show off what we've done off-screen, because we have done, again, quite a bit of stuff off-screen, so I'm just going to kind of showcase all of that before we go into another time-lapse for this episode. So, going over here, the biggest change, I think, is adding on to the park and heading out of the Voyage area into this section, which has a new flat ride with Circuit Wave, which is kind of like your flying carpet type ride, just with some simple queue lines and covers. Nothing too crazy going on over there, just another flat ride to give to the park. And then obviously this little restaurant piece, kind of, not really a restaurant, but kind of like a quick serve restaurant basically. Which will feature Chief Beef and Gulpy. This is basically because there's not a whole lot of food options actually in the Voyage section. In fact, I don't think there is any, and we are having some complaints of guests not that are hungry and thirsty, so did make some over there. We also have a Viva Vegan and So Delightful over here on this side of the park. And we also have a chair swing, which I haven't really messed with much. I just kind of plopped down and haven't really added any scenery around. And of course, we've been off and on with the custom supports for the wood coaster, and we did do some lift hill supports, and also continuing on with these wide supports going down the drop. They're looking quite nice and quite great. And that's basically it with some details here and there. I mean, just kind of like filling in gaps and actually filling in with stuff like these planters and stuff. And I still need to fill in this little bit of area right here. We do have a hot dog squad stand right there as well, just to continue on with all of our dry park, which is slowly growing into something bigger. And now, of course, I did start on this B&M invert layout, which I feel like is something that the park is missing in a nice big coaster that has inversions, because we don't have a coaster that has inversions yet. Like I said, this isn't going to be a very large park, but we are going to try and have the most variety as we can. We did start on a little bit of layout here, and I'm going to try and do my best to finish this layout in this video. Hopefully it's gone through some variations already, and probably will continue to do so, but so far we have a 0G roll, kind of like this bank turn that leads into a vertical loop, and I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do for the rest of the layout. And we also have a transfer track kind of planned right there for this, and I just kind of wanted to branch out to the back of the park, because this pathway is going to go around here. This pathway isn't like final or anything, it's just to kind of give a visualization of what we still need to do left in the park, so I can get started on some projects, and then just kind of work my way into that area and detail all of it. So basically the back of the park is going to be back here with this pathway, and that's basically going to be the park, is what you're seeing kind of on screen now for the dry park, from like this all the way here to back here. And this is going to branch off a little bit into our attractions and stuff, so it's not going to be like just right here, but it's going to branch off just a little bit into some like other plazas and stuff like that. This is just kind of like our main loop of the park. So and we could expand upon it later on, but that's basically it. And it will be my first fully fledged kind of park, and of course we need to do touch-ups on like the parking lot and stuff like that. And just kind of get that going, because it's just kind of what it is at the moment. I did cover up the buses over here, because we do have the buses that do come out of the tunnels that will stop over here at the bus stop. It is kind of weird seeing like a normal sized bus, and then the guest spawner buses are just ginormous, but that's how those are. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to continue on this, and without further ado, I think we should get into a time-lapse of the B&M inverted coaster. So let's get into that, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. So, let's get into this amazing time-lapse. Alright, so let's head into this B&M inverted coaster, which I've already done about half the layout. This is actually my first attempt at building a proper B&M invert in the game, and I actually used the 4-meter method out of all methods, because if you know me from Planet Coaster 1, I never used to like using this method, but in Planet Coaster 2 it's actually a method that's actually pretty easy to use, the way the smoothing tool works now. So Maybe I'm gonna start doing the 4-meter method from now on, because it actually works with the smooth tool a lot better than if you used longer pieces. So it is gonna be kind of weird, and because I never really used this method much in Planet Coaster 1, it is, I guess, kind of nice to be going into it a little bit and working on it quite a bit. I did want to make an inversion with a snappy transition, kind of like the Batman the Ride clones a little bit, so I did do a low to the ground snappy inversion right after that vertical loop. And then we're going to slow things down a little bit by going up and over the first drop. This layout isn't going to be super large or big or anything like that. The height is only about 123 feet, I think. It's not like a crazy tall B&M invert, and just kind of like a little mid-size here. The great thing with the new smooth tool with using the 4-meter method in Planet Coaster 2 is that it really, you can just spam the smooth tool now, and it not really affect too much of your heart lining and such, which is quite nice. And I have noticed that the auto-generated supports are much more improved in the game. It might not, first appear that way, but if you use them done up properly and just turn your supports off to begin with, and then just kind of pick and choose where you want them, they actually don't turn out too bad. Now, the B&M invert still has some issues with this. You'll see here later on. It always wants to do one side of using for the supports, which is kind of interesting, and I think I will do some custom supports on this in some spots where I don't like the auto-generated supports, but I am going to wait until the December 12th update for that, because we will be getting our coaster supports for that, so I might as well just wait for it to custom support it. So for right now, we're just going to do the layout, and for instance, like the 0G roll and a few of the turns here and there, I think need some custom generated supports, but the actual loop has a pretty solid support structure, surprisingly, so I was pretty happy with that. But like this turn here, you see where it puts the supports on the outside. I think it's because it's just generated to do a specific side sometimes, which is kind of not mostly realistic, but I might do the brake run as well. But overall, I like the lift hill supports turned out are actually pretty good. So I've noticed that a little bit as I've kind of gotten into more of these different coasters and such. So this B&M invert is in particular is going to be called the Phantom, which I thought it would be just a fun, interesting little name. Nothing too crazy, of course, for the theming of this ride, and it's not really going to have much theming at all. It's mostly going to be, again, this park is more of an amusement park with some light themes here and there. Like, again, the Voyage section of the park is kind of not much of it. Uses a lot of the Viking themes, but it's nothing too crazy. And this is going to be the outside area, which doesn't really have a particular theme. The only themed area theming is going to be for the ride itself, I guess, because again, this is more in the area of an amusement park rather than a theme park. And yeah, so we have 3 new or nice coasters for the park, and I think they give out quite a bit of variety for just having 3 coasters. We have a Intamin family coaster that utilizes drop tracks, switch tracks, and launch, and a lift hill as well. And then we have a GCI wooden coaster, which is a nice in-between ride. And then you have your B&M invert, which has your inversions and kind of your bigger ride in the park, that you could say. So I wanted to do a nice little quick transfer track for this ride as well. Nothing groundbreaking here or anything, just something like I would usually do in a lot of my coasters and everything like that. And then we do decorate the area up just a little bit with some foliage and some light scenery. And I did want to make this storage shed look a little bit decent since it will be in guest view for the most part. So did do some trim work on some of the building sections like that, all around the building, and just gave it like a simple roof. And then same for the station as well. We did do just kind of like a normal, just kind of use the corrugated themed kind of roof and walls for this, and I was kind of fine with the gray pieces as well. So that's kind of what we went with here, and I put some windows here and there as also just to kind of give it some sort of, you know, detail, so it doesn't look completely bland. And a little, of course, we did put a little door at the bottom, so mechanics would have access to that. And then we add a little distributor here just so we could get power to the ride. And I put it over by the transfer area just so it did kind of add some detail. I kind of like the looks of them. Put them in some like backstage areas and such like that. So anyways, as for the station here, we did do kind of like just again the corrugated roof with some like steel beams to kind of support the track and the station, because that's something you kind of have to think about in these stations for the inverted coasters, is they're not really supported off the bat, so you kind of have to go in and actually place in some sort of structures for them. So I haven't made too many inverted coaster stations and transfer tracks in my time, but this one turned out pretty good, so I'm pretty happy with it, even though it's, you know, very bland, probably one of the more bland buildings out there, but it still got the job done pretty well, and I'm still going to add more details even after this video, so this isn't the complete final product, but I at least wanted to get the station kind of going and started, and it will have a priority pass as well. So I think this, for being my first B&M invert in Planet Coaster 2, I think it turned out pretty solid. It's not the best in the world, and I still have a little bit of working to do, just because I am not used to using the 4-meter method all that much, so I'm sure I'll get better at it, but I can see why a lot of people used it in Planet Coaster 1, even though it wasn't my preferred method, because I thought it just took too long. But in Planet Coaster 2, it actually doesn't take that long anymore, so with the smoothing tool actually working the way as it should be, so you can actually just smooth it out pretty quickly with no issues. And yeah, it turned out pretty good. I had to go in and actually do some management stuff here because you have to remember that. And of course I wanted to test out an on ride as well. I will say that the pacing is good in some spots, but some of the pacing drags in some others. So it's kind of like, again, it's not the best layout, but it worked. I had the snappy inversions that I wanted, but I also had some nice gradual inversions. It just kind of has a little mixture of everything, a few intense areas with a few areas where you're just kind of gliding around, which kind of worked in the end. So that's basically what I wanted to do with this, and basically what we're going to be doing is kind of attaching this with the rest of the park here pretty soon. I still need to do a queue line and everything like that, but that will be for next time. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's been a couple days, but make sure you comment, like, and subscribe for more amazing content like this. We'll be back really soon with Midwest Adventure, and I'm still having a lot of fun building on this park, and I can't wait till we get to the finish line. It's going to be pretty awesome as we got a lot of the park done. So anyways, make sure you guys have a great day, and cool tomorrow, and I'll see you guys in the very next video. Thanks so much, and goodbye.